powerful Hurricane Dorian now headed towards the Florida coast, leaving catastrophic conditions behind in the Bahamas. We're getting our first look from the air at the devastation. Miles and miles of damage. Neighborhoods reduced to strewn pieces of debris, almost appearing like trash littering the ground, but what looks like matchsticks. Those are pieces of roofs and doors and what used to be homes. We can only hope at this point that the families who lived there escaped and made it out safely. Some of the debris, of course, surrounded by floodwaters. Hurricane Dorian, the strongest hurricane to ever hit the Bahamas, as far as we know. It lashed the islands for 2 straight days, moving just 30 miles in 30 hours, killing at least 5 people, with that death toll regrettably expected by experts to rise precipitously. The storm destroyed or damaged some 13,000 homes. It ripped off roofs and pushed ocean waters right up into towns, right up into homes. As a result of Hurricane Dorian's stall over the Bahamas, it has been downgraded to a Category 2. But at the same time, the hurricane is expanding. Its powerful hurricane-force winds stretching well beyond its eye wall. All that strength puts it on a menacing path towards Florida, towards Georgia, and towards the Carolinas in the United States. From the destruction in the Bahamas to the race to get ready along the East Coast, CNN is covering it all. I'm going to start with CNN's Patrick Oppmann, who's been doing incredible reporting for us. He's live in Freeport, Bahamas. And Patrick, you just got back from viewing this devastation firsthand. Tell us what you saw.
Yeah, Jake, for the first time today, after being battered by the storm for days and days, it was finally safe enough to go out. We were not able to access much of the island. There were so many other places that we wanted to go, but the streets were still under water or blocked by cars. We did get to the area where regular Bahamians have decided to stage their own rescue mission with jet skis in small boats. Let's go ahead and I'll show you what we saw there. We were walking out to a staging area where they're bringing people in from the communities out here that have been flooded. Sometimes one at a time. You can see there are still hurricane force winds and rain coming down on us. And yet these people are going out and pulling people from their houses, from the top of their houses, and saving their lives. Look, there's a little baby here. They're a boy. They're covering up and protecting. Here, I assume, is his mother. Come through. Good job. And they're going on a jet skis because sometimes the boats. Ma'am, how are you doing? How are you doing? You made it. You're safe.
Yeah.
How high did the water get?
It was up to the first floor.
You're safe now.
Yeah.
So as she was saying, the water was up to the first floor of her house. Many people here have told us that the water came in so quickly into this neighborhood, you would not be able to tell from what you're looking here, but there are hundreds of houses back there. And the only way to get the people from the houses is from small boats and jet skis. What's going on?
Yeah, we're trying to do the rescue here in Freeport after the hurricane.
How many people are out there still?
A few hundred.
A few hundred?
Yeah, a lot of homes are over here.
And it's tough to get out there and get them?
And it's tough.
How long are you going to keep doing it?
Until we get everybody. We Bahamians. We're not going to stop until we get everybody in.
This is all volunteer. People are coming, they're bringing their jet skis, they're bringing their boats. They're going to get their neighbors, they say. Everyone says they know of people. They say it's very hard to navigate because there are, of course, no more streets. And yet they are doing it. You don't see anybody from the government here. It is all very ad hoc. People coming with what they have, the jet skis they have. They are dealing with horrible weather conditions. It's not safe to be out on a boat right now. It's not safe to be out here at all. And yet they say they know there are people out there. There are people who've lost their lives out there, we are told. They brought back at least one body, and they say they will not stop until they get everybody. They have hours, if not days, of work ahead of them. And Jake, while we were out there, we were still feeling hurricane force winds. We tried to get in the boat, but they had to suspend the rescue operations after several jet skis flipped over. They said they would hope to try later today to keep bringing people in. Again, it's just a few boats and jet skis. It's not organized by the Bahamian government. It's not organized really by anybody, but these brave people are putting their lives on the line to bring their neighbors in from these houses. They said they would not get everybody, though, Jake. They said there's still hundreds of people out there. They're only brought in several dozen today. There's more people than there are boats, and many of those people will have to spend another night out there trapped in their homes.
And Patrick, you spoke with a man who watched his wife drown in front of him. These storm survivors are going through just horrific ordeals.
Yes, his name is Howard Armstrong. He's a crabber. He's very well known in this community, as is his wife. He said that they ended up riding out the storm as the water came up all the way in the first floor of their home on their kitchen cabinets. The kitchen cabinet his wife was on collapsed. He was holding her in the water. She had hypothermia. And finally, he said she just slipped out of his arms. She drowned. He barely got out of his house. He has not had anything to eat, he said. He didn't want anything from us. He was just waiting there to see if his wife's body would be brought in, completely traumatized. Other people said that their family members are missing or had even been seen taken away by the storm surge. It's going to take a long time before a full accounting can be done here of how many lives were lost in the storm. And again, people are trying to carry out these rescue missions in conditions that are just not safe, but they say they have no other option.
And Patrick, you tell us that the destruction to the Bahamas is worse than expected. Tell us more about that. Why is that?
Yes, it's just that it's impossible to get so many places. The flooding is still so deep, and the storm the worst of it is past, but we're still feeling some hurricane winds, and it's really a story about the flooding. This island, it is so low. It's only 30 feet high and the highest point of land, and so much of this island is still underwater. And we were in a big truck, and still it was impossible to get almost everywhere. We have heard stories, reports that people are in terrible shape at the hospital here, the main hospital, Rand Memorial. We were not able to get there. We have heard other stories of people who are completely cut off, whose houses were swept away. We tried to get to those neighborhoods. We were not able to get there. We have not heard any word yet of anybody coming in from the outside. The airport, of course, is underwater, but more importantly, there are many neighborhoods here that are completely underwater, and we've not heard word if there were people there and if they have survived.